This actually reminds me of when I was in 2nd grade and it was snack time, but we'd been misbehaving, so they gave us assigned seats on the rug, and I had to sit next to this girl whose snack was mangoes, but I didn't like her because she bullied me, so I told the teacher that I was allergic to mangoes, and I couldn't sit next to her, and my teacher was like, oh, it doesn't say anything about any food allergies on this paper right here. You might have to update the school nurse on that. So I went to the school nurse's office, and she called my mom, and my mom was like, and I genuinely have no idea why, but my mom was like, yeah, sure, she's allergic to mangoes. So then the school had on paper that I was allergic to mangoes, so at this point I was like in way too deep. So I just pretended to be allergic to mangoes for the next 5 years, like I went full throttle into this lie. I even came up with a backstory to explain how I found out I was allergic to mangoes. It got to the point where even my parents just genuinely believed I was allergic to mangoes, until one day when I was 12, I just came clean and explained the story to my parents, and they were like, yeah, that sounds like something you do. But anyway, I never got to enjoy my newfound mango freedom until about a year later when I was over at my friend's house. They had mangoes, and I was like, actually, I haven't had mangoes in 6 years. And they were like, oh my god, they're so good, you have to try some. So I did, and they were so good. Like, I look exactly like that picture above. I was gobbling that crap up like Cookie Monster. It was insane. And anyway, basically 20 minutes later, I broke out in hives. Popular YouTube channels are great and informative until they make a video about a topic you're informed on, and then the house of cards comes crashing down as you realize how utterly wrong they are about most things. He talked about electric cars. I don't know anything about cars, so when people said he was a genius, I figured he must be a genius. Then he talked about rockets. I don't know anything about rockets, so when people said he was a genius, I figured he must be a genius. Now he talks about software. I happen to know a lot about software, and Elon Musk is saying the stupidest crap I've ever heard anyone say. So when people say he's a genius, I figure I should stay the hell away from his cars and rockets. Our home security system is being updated today, and the guy in charge is just peak Gen Z. No professional frigs given vibe, and it's hysterical. I mean, I'm supposed to recommend stuff, like you should probably put a sensor on that window too, but like that's really a you decision. I just have to say this stuff out loud so I don't get sued if you get broken into. So like, just to clarify, you don't want the cameras, right? Only I need to make sure because sometimes people say no on the phone, and then when I'm leaving, they ask me why I haven't installed the cameras yet, and I'm just like, that's a you problem, I'm going home. Leaning around the corner of my office to talk to me. Hey, do you know where Mothman went? Actually, never mind. You're probably the detail-oriented one. I can tell by the gestures at my candy floss colored goth office, whatever this is. So like the new alarm panel is smaller than the old one, and the old one pulled off some of the paint. I can try to hide it, but it won't be perfect. You don't care? Sweet. I'm always ready for people to yell at me. Hey, so I need to test the smoke alarm before we put it up, but I don't want to frighten your little dog. I'll try to muffle it, but you might want to hold her. Clutching the alarm to his abdomen like Steve Rogers falling on a grenade. I'm sorry, little dog. I'm so sorry. But was little dog frightened? She was, but she was also very brave and got a treat. Life advice. Never say anything to a penguin that the penguin has not already said to you. This reads like a crap post, but I'm actually 100% serious. I was walking along the side of the harbor this evening, just after all the penguins had come in from the ocean to nest. There was one penguin right by the footpath, and when it saw me, it kept saying, "Whoo!" So I said, "Whoo!" right back, and it seemed to like that, and we had a lovely conversation where we just kept saying, "Whoo!" to each other. I crouched down about 2 meters away from it, and we kept talking, and it actually moved towards me a little bit, seeming to prefer my company to the heartless embrace of the sea. But then, I made the mistake of trying to change things up. I said, "Wah," which was something that a previous penguin said to me, and this penguin hated it, and frigged right off. Never said another word to me. I felt so rude. Y'all know that John Mulaney quote, "The things crazy people say mean nothing to them, but everything to me"? Every time I hear that quote, I think about how I got this light-up pen. I got this pen 4 years ago when I was working as a barista at Starbucks. I was on the registers and taking the order of this woman, who ordered a non-fat latte because she was watching her weight. So this guy behind her, whom no one was talking to, for some friggin' reason says, "Watching your weight? But what about the weight for your watch?" Which is a completely unhinged response, like just complete Mad Hatter nonsense. Anyway, this lady gets really uncomfortable, and of the 5 people, me, him, her, the other checker, and the customer at the other register, who are now sucked into the uncomfortable silence, I decided that I should alleviate the tension by saying, "You can't wait for a watch, you don't have the time." And then he said, "Oh, quick girl," gave me that pen, got out of line, and left without ordering anything. You pleased a mad fae trickster. Zeus sent you a new message. Odin sent you a new message. What is this? A crossover episode? My advice to you? Run. Solution. Tell Zeus you'll agree to meet him, but only if he's in the guise of a swan, a very freaky swan. Tell Odin you will arrive in the form of a swan. Give them the same meeting location. Pop some popcorn and hide in the bushes. Loki, is that you? Things I've seen on Tumblr and have never found again. Someone asks an artist, why do you always draw feet like that? And the artist doesn't understand. That's literally just what feet look like? And they go back and forth, artist versus Tumblr community, on whether the way they draw feet is normal, as the artist insists, or not, as the consensus agreed. The artist started asking whether this is some sort of a prank. Did this many people really gang up just to try to convince them that the way they draw feet is weird? The disagreement continued, everyone else saying no, you just draw feet in a weird way, and the artist insisting that they are just normal frigging feet, that their feet look like that, everyone in their family has feet like that, they're just normal goddamn feet, and posted a photo of their own foot side by side with their drawing of a foot from the same angle. And it turns out that the artist and everyone in their family has a mild form of the same genetic foot arch deformity. Got my brother's spare key because we live a walking distance away. We buy the same kind of bread because that's the same one we had at home. He's a man of schedule, goes shopping the same day every week. He goes on the same walk at the same time of day every day. Always hated how irregular my habits are. Decide to be a craphead for no reason. Get a bag of bread on the same day he's gone shopping. Toast the entire thing and put it back in the bag. Wait until it's time for brother's walk. Take my bag of toast and sneak in with my keys. Know where he keeps his bread, switch the bag of bread with the bag of toast. Toast 2 slices of bread to make the whole house smell like toast. Escape once they're done. Make sure I left no mark in the house. Touch nothing. Make it to home, start gaming. 25 minutes later, I get a text. I don't know how or why you've done this, but I will frigging end you. European comics. Well, there's these 2 guys who have been friends for 20 years. One of them writes the scripts and the other makes the art. American comics. The publisher wants us to crank out a new chapter every month. So we have one dude who writes it, another one plans the page layout and sketches, a third person inks the page, and 4th one colors it. And the 5th one is on the payroll just to fight the publisher about the requested edits and corrections. Japanese comics. The publisher wants us to crank out a new chapter every month, more like every week. So we have just this one dude doing the whole damn thing on his own in a tiny apartment while slowly going insane. You'll have no idea how much I want a pizza right now. It is taking all of my willpower to save my money and not order one this instant to celebrate getting stuff done today. Late stage capitalism is I want pizza, but Congress won't buy me one. Wait, I haven't tried. I'm gonna call my congressman and see. Ted Cruz isn't answering. Still a coward, I see. I'm gonna ask my governor now and tell him Cruz was out of his jurisdiction, so he'll feel all important. Dude sued the city and is richer than God. He can afford a pizza. Someone picked up. This is how it went. Hello, I would like to request an audience with Governor Abbott. I'm sorry, I can relay a message and have him get back to you in a call or email. Okay, thanks. Due to some recent changes in current economic disparity in Texas, I've calculated that Governor Abbott makes enough a year to buy over 10,000 pizzas, for example. As a display of his claims to make efforts towards rebuilding the middle class, all I ask is that he buy me one single pizza. Pfft. That's less than 0.0001% of his salary, not even taking his enormous wealth into consideration. Will affect my voting decision next election cycle. My PayPal is Quinn in the clouds. I'll let him know. Hangs up. None of them bought me a pizza. Guess you could say they crushed my dreams. Plot twist, the secretary sent me $15 for making her laugh because she hates working there. The subject line said political pizza. Someone on r/legal advice was sick of their coworkers stealing their food out of the fridge, so they started labeling it poison, do not eat, and Sharpie on both the bag and the food's wrapper every day, and the person still kept stealing it. So after a week they added a bunch of laxatives to their food, and the thief had to go to the hospital and could possibly sue OP. The general consensus was that OP was technically objectively in the wrong from a legal standpoint, but there is 0% chance of them being convicted in criminal court, because that would require finding 12 jurors who would rule in favor of someone stealing food labeled poison, do not eat, and then getting poisoned. Not guilty by reason of frig that guy. At the farmer's market, the baby was pointing at the tomatoes and going ba 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 and signing on. So my sister was like, how much for just one tomato? And the person at the stall was like, oh, he can have one, don't worry about it. And the baby stood there by the stall, devouring the tomato like an apple in big messy bites. And people kept stopping and going, aw, and then, oh man, that does look good, and buying a bunch of tomatoes. All natural, organic advertising. Could you imagine if people talked about Catholicism the same way they talked about, like, indigenous people's religions? Girl in horror movie holding a Bible open. According to legend, a mob tortured a half-man, half-god and nailed him to a wooden cross, leaving him to starve to death. But days later, on this very night, they found he had clawed his way out of the grave. Now those who believe lie in wait for him to rise again. To honor him, they have weekly gatherings where they chant and sing, and at the end of it, they eat his flesh and blood. Girl's friend. Wow, that's so creepy. Horror movie jock. It's only a myth, don't worry. I love the fact that this is insinuating that Jesus is going to try to kill these kids. Be me, a neat. Parents finally threatened to kick me out unless I find a job. Get a low-paying warehouse job. Work starts at 6 a.m., so I had to get up very early, something my body wasn't used to for a while. Run around all day lifting heavy packages and moving dozens of one-ton pallets. Boss invites our team to a mandatory after-work meeting. Sit down sleepy and completely exhausted. The conversation is the most boring crap ever. How have you been? What did you do on the weekend? All in the name of my team building. Struggled to maintain my eyes open since I was tired as hell. Anon, if you're tired, go home. My autistic butt immediately gets up and leaves the room, leaving everyone in silence. Found out the next day that it was sarcasm and that the boss is now furious with me. Probably gonna get fired soon. So, how's wagey life treating you? I just got released from prison. 4 years. I robbed a friggin' bank but pled down to aggravated assault. Money's gone. Friggin' die packs. Oh well, could have been 20 so no complaints. Now what do? Drive a truck? Here's what you do. Start YouTube channel. Your very first video is going to be you sitting in front of a high quality camera looking presentable. Half the screen is going to show a video game. Title of the YouTube video, Real Bank Robber Critiques GTA 5 Bank Heist Mission. You're gonna commentate over the GTA 5 intro and say crap like, yeah, that's pretty realistic, they'd have alarms like that. Pause the cutscene every now and then and say some crap like, back when I hit the bank, the cops were on us much quicker than this, so I'm not sure this is entirely accurate. Your next videos are going to be you critiquing similar scenes from other games or movies. Then your videos are going to be Q&A about prison life. Before you know it, you're at 350k subs and growing, and all you do is talk into a camera about prison. Enjoy making more money than all of us. Be second grade teacher. School is in a low-income, high-crime neighborhood. One of my kids often gets picked up by his grandpa. Grandpa is an OG who used to be a gangster in the 80s, spent some time in prison, and got his crap together. He's big and scary looking, but super frigging nice. Leave the school after working late one day. Some dudes walk up to me and ask what time it is. Look down at my watch, and one of them sucker punches me. Try to fight back, but it's 3-on-1. Get my watch, phone, and wallet taken. Next day during dismissal, student's grandpa notices bruises, asks what the hell happened. Oh, I got jumped by some guys on my way home. He asks what they look like. Don't know, but I remember they drove away in a white Camaro. He nods and says okay. About a week later, student comes back and hands me a plastic bag from his backpack. Inside is my phone, wallet, and watch. See a news report a few months later about a white Camaro found at the bottom of a nearby lake. Owner is still missing. Newer guy in our office set up an Xbox 360 and a small screen in his cubicle and plays games on his lunch break. Other people in our office make fun of him and talk crap about it behind his back in the lunchroom. Actually caught up with him outside on a 10-minute break vaping. Chat a few times throughout the week. Dude's a widow and he's always taking care of his kids. Has no time to play games outside of work. Decide to start playing games with him during lunch break. Have a blast with him. Other employees still talk crap about us. I know this makes his day though, because his face lights up with excitement every time. Even brought in some old 360 games to play together. Dude's such a gem of a person, and it makes me realize how crappy life can be. Okay, so Norway is like such an odd country, cause like, listen to this. Norwegians consume 9% of all Pepsi Max produced. Norwegians eat the second most tacos in the world, just after Mexico. Norwegians drink the second most coffee in the world, just after the United States. Norwegians read the second most comic books in the world, just after Japan. There are only 5 million people in Norway, and apparently they are having an amazing time. If a creep wants your number, a series of fake numbers to leave behind. Easter egg number for finishing God of War. Contains a dramatic speech. Personal favorite. Rejection hotline. Politely explains that whoever gave you this number turned you down, buddy. The 24-hour Cool Kids Club line, where you can get a free information booklet. Only responds with, I am Groot. Seattle radio station Loser Line. If they leave a weird voicemail, it could get broadcast over the airwaves. Stay safe, people. John Cena, complete with air horns and his theme song. Can I interest you in a soy latte? Just coffee, black. Caramel macchiato? Just coffee, black. Iced peppermint mocha? Just coffee, black. Frap?
For crying out loud, make up your mind and order.
I love when boomers complain about crap like this, because as a fast food worker, I would literally rather walk out into the lobby and take a bath with a toaster than suggest more than one menu item to a customer. Thinking about how my mom tried to seduce my dad when they were in college together by sneaking oranges into his backpack. because she grew up food insecure, and feeding someone/sharing food was a big deal with her upbringing, with a lot of emotional meaning. And meanwhile, my poor dad is just convinced that he's been haunted by some citrus poltergeist, because why the frig are there always oranges in his bag he swears he did not put there? This is the handbook each actor who plays Aladdin at Disney World is given. Park safety. Although we want every Disney guest to have fun, our #1 priority is safety. Because of this, Aladdin will never under any circumstances kill a park guest, unless it is absolutely necessary to save the lives of a greater number of park guests. This is referred to as Aladdin's exception. Sir, we have a person taken hostage in Frontierland. Shh, send in this read rat. Prince Ali, deadly is he, Ali Ababa. Work at liquor store. See obviously underage girls enter and rush to the back. Hear them whispering and discussing what to get. They grab Heaven Hill vodka. They try and check out and I ask for ID. They lost it, but one says her dad says it's okay, she's 22. Laugh at them and tell them get the frig out. Same girl tells me her dad is rich, blah blah. They leave and I start eating a pickle in a bag. Drive-through bell rings. Walk over and see it's the same girls. They freak out. One says that there should have been someone else. I stare at them eating my pickle. They speed off. Good pickle. I told my girlfriend that I was having an episode earlier, and she replied, "Is it the beach episode?" And it shocked me so much that it grounded me immediately. Got asked by a nurse at the psych ward, "Are you like legit sad?" as I was sobbing on a chair. Made me stop crying because I was so perplexed. I want you all to know that this is like a legit strategy that's taught to people, Lamau. I.e., say something so friggin' stupid/absurd that it distracts the person's brain so much that it drags them back and grounds them. Like, people are actually taught to do this. People who understand Minecraft Redstone, computer engineers. True! Minecraft logic gates. This isn't a joke. Reminder that someone programmed Pokemon Red into Minecraft using Redstone and it was completely playable. Pokemon Red version in Minecraft. Theory: our reality in the universe we all reside in is actually just a Minecraft simulation run on an immense Redstone framework. Someone programmed a Redstone system to call and order a pizza. I wish I made this up. The fact that there are people in college still spelling definitely as defiantly. Like, what do you even do about that? So you're ableist now? Sure, whatever. Wow, you are all buttheads. I went to undergrad to learn about psychology and history, what I did not go to college for, to become a pedantic donkey, thinking I'm better than someone else because they use the wrong word that sounds or looks similar. One of us clearly got more out of college than the other. Hint, it's not you. College, undergraduate school better fit. Why is only one subject capitalized? What is your area of study? Pedantic. Was. What? Revise. Confusing. Missing punctuation. Derivative and unnecessary. Telepathic aliens enjoy that humans will play music for hours at a time. When it's too mentally quiet on deck, they just announce the catchiest song titles they know, and the humans will start thinking about it automatically. The humans hate this so much. Zorf. Human Steve, can you please play that song I like? The one with all the females? Steve, what? Zorf, a little bit of Monica in my life. Steve, motherfucker! People who grew up with money will look you in the eyes and ask you something insane like, do you ski? I used to work for law firms. Once had dinner with the head of the firm. He looked at me and my wife and asked what our favorite bistro in Paris was. We've never been to Paris, never even mentioned Paris. That was his starter question. I work at a coffee shop. A customer looked me right in my face and said, espresso is better in Italy. Have you been? Sir, I'm making minimum wage living paycheck to paycheck and you didn't tip. Why don't you take a wild guess? When I mentioned taking a day off to move house, my manager asked who I went with for my mortgage. When I told him I was renting, he asked, why don't you just borrow 10 grand or so off your parents for a mortgage deposit? Sir, we lead very different lives. Have you considered being born into wealth? You should try it sometime. It's not hard. I was born into wealth all by myself. I once visited a coworker's house and a cleaning service van pulled into her neighbor's driveway. She said, They're using that maid service now? How cliche. What service do you use? I felt like I'd somehow been transported to another dimension. A rabbi goes to see his friend the bishop. Listen, he says, there's something I've never quite understood about the Catholic Church. It's hierarchical, right? Right, says the bishop. So, says the rabbi, if you do a really great job as a bishop, you might become what? Well, says the bishop, if I'm fortunate, I might become an archbishop. And if you do a really great job as an archbishop, I suppose someday I could even be a cardinal. And if you do a really great job as a cardinal, I guess after that I could, theoretically, become the pope. And if you do a really great job as the pope, what would you expect me to become after the pope, says the bishop, who's starting to get a little annoyed. God himself? The rabbi shrugs. Well, he says, one of our boys made it. Born in the year of 1993, mother abandoned me at birth. 22-year-old father abandons all his dreams to raise me alone. Times are tough as frig as he has to juggle work and me. Whenever he has free time, we play video together. We move from old Nintendo and crap to WoW raiding and so on. Helps me with school and even encourages me to study in a university. Follow his advice and manage to finish uni with an engineering degree. 1 year ago, he gets diagnosed with lung cancer. Time goes on and it gets so bad he can't get out of the hospital bed. Visit him every single day. Week ago. Hey Anon, was I a good father? You were the best, Dad. Thanks, son. 2 seconds later, flatline. Today, finally decide to organize his stuff in his old bedroom. Find a notebook. In detail, he wrote every day he spent with me. Today, me and Anon went to Carnival and did etc. Every day ends with, I hope I'm doing enough for him. Last entry is before he enters the hospital. All these years I did what I could. I don't regret Mother's name abandoning me and Anon and not even calling once. I just hope Anon has grown up to be the best he can. You were the best, old man. Godspeed to you. In an off-and-on discussion about free school lunches, a lady claimed I can't call yourself a Christian if you don't understand the simple concept of give a man a fish / teach a man to fish, leaving me to inform her that wasn't in the Bible, nor was it a Christian quote. Not to mention, Jesus very much did just give people fish. Like, that was a significant thing that happened, and he made sure that there was enough for everyone. It was a pretty big deal. Also, this is about free school lunches. What do you mean teach a man to fish? They're literally children, by the way. Holy friggin' crap. Nobody told me that toddlers are this friggin' easy to manage. They're like tiny drunk people, but on easy mode. They don't have phones or car keys, and they can't reach the stovetops. So it's a breeze to make sure they don't try to cook, drive, or text people who want both of you killed. And they're like half my size instead of twice my size. So if they're really hell-bent on doing something dangerous, I can literally just pick them up and carry them away from it. Their tantrums last like 3 minutes tops. Their punches don't hurt, and they don't even know any curses, and they actually like and respect you enough to say they're sorry once they've calmed down, and you tell them they shouldn't have taken it out on you like that, and you can just say that to their face. Both will babble complete friggin' nonsense at you, but little kids will talk about way more interesting stuff, and don't even start suspecting that you only understand every third word they're saying. This was supposed to convince me out of it, but small kids are hands down the easiest people I've ever had to handle. I want 7. Imagine being in a bar, overhearing an argument between two guys, calling each other morons, and one of them says, I speak 12 languages and you barely speak 1. Don't you call me stupid, and lists 12 languages, and one of them happens to be your native language. So you chime in like, really? You speak Swahili? And the dude answers, in a very polite wording with perfect grammar and pretty good pronunciation, I don't actually speak Swahili, but please don't expose and embarrass me, and carries on arguing with the guy who has no idea what he just said. I just learned that someone on Tumblr roleplayed as OSHA for years, as in made an account pretending to be the official OSHA account, and posted things that could ostensibly be official OSHA posts, citing specific regulations and such. Incredible, lol. Absolutely bonkers that I'm now one of those weirdos you hear about on Twitter. So why did you stop? Commit to the bit! I committed to the bit so hard that I also committed misdemeanor impersonation of a government official. Okay, so Q2Q Comics and I are currently apartment hunting for the fall, and I just stumbled upon the weirdest apartment ever. Like at first, wow, this looks nice. How can it be only $650 a month? Something's gotta be wrong with it. And then you find the floor plan. Like, what the frig is this place? And you realize it's on the bottom of 3 apartment units. Clearly this was meant to be one big place. This is your entrance. Have fun living in the maintenance hallway under the rich folks. It comes with such stunning features as creepy long murder hallways, a room with many doors, all closets, a bathroom that's clearly just meant for storage, and whatever this thing is in your kitchen. Honestly, I'd totally live in this amateur Counter-Strike mapper's first map. I don't give a crap that the bathroom is in another time zone. It's cheaper than anything around here. This is literally the first level of Hitman 2. What the frig? What does it all mean? Do you ever think about autistic medieval nuns? I'm pretty sure there were some. It's statistically impossible there weren't nuns that were on the spectrum. Other nuns at the monastery looking at them like, Sister Marjorie always looks to be in peace and so content with this life. Why cannot I be such a good nun as well? And then immediately start grieving about the sin of envy or some crap. Meanwhile, Marjorie has zero friggin' idea that anyone is staring at her, busy thinking, oh man, I sure friggin' love having the same meal at the same time every single day, and then going back to my simple repetitive work where nobody friggin' talks at me all day. Oh, Sister Marjorie is so dedicated during prayers, and is so serene and quiet even through the longest prayers. No matter how challenging it is to not feel bored, oh, I feel so ashamed. Sister Marjorie, clicking her prayer beads in perfect rhythm because frig yes, stim time. Gosh, I sure love zoning out and entering my rich internal world, where I go on wild adventures with all my favorite saints and Bible characters, slaying evil and wooing angels. Cell phone doesn't like water because it is a combination of the other three elements. It is a rock, earth, that we fill with lightning, fire, that can control radio waves, air. If it contained water too, it would be too perfect. It would be like a god. To prevent this, the universe kills the would-be uniter of the elements. It's basic science. Hey OP, Google what LCD stands for. I took an oath in 3rd grade to never do drugs. I feel compelled to share one of my favorite bits from The Martian. Each crewman had their own laptop, so I have 6 at my disposal. Rather, I had 6. I now have 5. I thought a laptop would be fine outside. It's just electronics, right? It'll keep warm enough to operate in the short term, and it doesn't need air for anything. It died instantly. The screen went black before I was out of the airlock. Turns out the L in LCD stands for liquid. I guess it either froze or boiled off. Maybe I'll post a consumer review. Brought product to surface of Mars. It stopped working. 0 out of 10. Owls can sit crisscross applesauce. It's always something new with these motherfriggers. So I'm guessing that for Americans, cross and sauce rhyme. I cannot imagine what pronunciation would cause them not to. So yes, Americans. How do you pronounce them? Cross rhymes with boss, and sauce rhymes with horse. If you live somewhere that sauce and horse rhyme, I don't want to hear your opinions on literally anything. Me, after a few seconds, oh, they're saying horse with a soft R. Me initially, source. If you could delete one mainstream media movie, book, series, intellectual property from existence, entirely removing it from everyone's memory and cauterizing the timeline so it cannot reemerge, what would it be? Mine would be Minions. Answers more interesting than JKR, Star Wars, MCU, GRRM are more fun. What personally just makes you furious to have to look at it? Either Samurai Jack or Avatar: The Last Airbender. Samurai Jack because it is genuinely one of the worst pieces of media I have ever seen, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is the new Harry Potter these days, despite being painfully middling. I wouldn't usually do this, but holy frig, how does it feel to be the only person with objectively wrong opinions? Bait used to be believable. Please, God above, can someone explain to me why we're still working on self-driving cars when trains exist? We're training them to interpret road signs. Train goes same place every day, no road signs. When forced to choose between old lady and child, which is more ethical for the car to hit? Fence around train track, nobody on the road. People with disabilities preventing them from driving themselves can be independent, yes, but also train. Reduces the dangers of fatigue with long-distance trucking. Train. The technology is not yet price-effective for the average driver. Train. Seriously, come on, choo-choo hags, let's go! People who dreamt up flying cars have been too blinded by their vision to realize they've already been invented and even have a name. Helicopters. Same goes for the vague idea of pod-based transport. People just can't accept that the most efficient pods are big to accommodate the most people, linked together to minimize the amount of engines needed, and have been called trains for over a century. When I was young, there were beatniks, hippies, punks, gangsters. Now, you're a hacktivist, which I would probably be if I was 20, shutting down MasterCard. But there's no look to that lifestyle. Besides just wearing a bad outfit with bad posture, has WikiLeaks caused a look? No! I'm mad about that. If your kid comes out of the bedroom and says he just shut down the government, it seems to me he should at least have an outfit for that. John Waters on the sorry style of today's rebels. The only criticism of millennials I accept. Be me, shameless neat. Buy a new game, House Flipper. Play it hours on end, love it. Getting really good. This isn't so difficult. Idea.jpg. Why not flip houses myself? Get a loan from the bank. Buy cheap house, tools, and supply. Start working. New carpets, wallpaper, replace the fence, and give the place a new coat of paint. Try to install new lights, need more wire. Go to local hardware shop, get a nice cool Coke and a hot dog to reward myself. Come back to my house project. It's burning. The friggin' house is burning. It took all night to extinguish it. Fireman asks me if I'm a friggin' idiot doing this without any professionals. Next day, sitting on the rubble of my dreams. I don't know anything about handiwork. I owe the bank $500,000. Am ruined. House flipper has ruined my life. I want a refund. Be Gothamite. Wake up at 6 a.m. to the sound of a bus exploding outside my crappy apartment. Trudge through knee-high water and half-drowned hobos because someone flooded the city again. Avoid stepping on any weeds just in case poison ivy is in the area. Miss my train to work because someone sprayed a riddle over the schedule. Spend my afternoon cowering from demons under my work desk. Fear gas leaked into the office. Try to say goodbye to the nice receptionist I have a crush on. Told she fell into a tank of jellyfish last week and is now running around calling herself the Sting Pin. On my way home through Crime Alley. Get held up by some venom addict going through withdrawals. Look around for help. Spy Batman on the rooftop above. He's too busy flirting with Catwoman to notice me. Get home frazzled as frig. Phone rings. My uncle was killed by frigging Crazy Quilt. Get told as a kid to never judge a book by its cover. Fast forward to high school. Get a customer service job. After a while, what I was told as a kid seems like bad advice. I'm able to tell a lot about people from their outward appearance. I'm eventually able to guess someone's personality with about 85% accuracy based on their appearance, clothing, face, voice, and body language. Start identifying from a distance if a customer is going to be a total Richard, or if they're going to escalate something inconsequential into a whole event or something. Position myself so that I don't have to deal with the buttheads. Was the whole don't judge a book by its cover thing bullcrap, or am I some sort of psychic? Shrek is a cautionary tale about how dating ugly, musty men, because it's what's on the inside that counts, will make you ugly and musty as well. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Facts only. Why the frig am I seeing Shrek slander on my dashboard right now? Did any of you even watch the goddamn films? I can't believe this. You guys don't deserve Shrek. Frig you! Fiona was already an ogre and was trying to hide that part of herself because her parents told her to be ashamed. But Shrek helped her accept that part of herself and become her true self unapologetically. Frig you! OP is Lord Farquaad. Beamy, Mentor recently died. I therefore inherited his status as a doctor. 7th century, I don't know. Walk past the farms on my way to the castle. See a family of peasants waiting for me. Male is sick, has a big fleshy orb on his back. Notice his bulge.
What? What's this?
Please cure my husband. He's become ill. No clue what the frig he has. Sure, Doc Carvestone. Poke with doctor stick. Bulge bursts. Whitish cream bursts everywhere. Looks like spider blood. Smells like spider blood. Tastes like spider blood. Declare farmer possessed by spider. Burned alive at the stake. King pays me godly for preventing spider disease from spreading. Feels good, man. Mario and Bowser's rivalry after 30 years exists mostly just to uphold the status quo, instantly dissipates whenever the situation calls for it. Peach's kidnappings probably follow a very specific schedule, and after every single one, they all go out for coffee together. Luigi is unironically Junior's favorite babysitter. Sonic and Eggman's rivalry after 30 years. If you so much as breathe in my direction, I am literally going to kill you with my bare hands! Link and Ganondorf's rivalry after 30 years. We are inexorably tied together by fate and ideology. We are each other's opposites in the worst and most poetic way possible. We are enemies. We are brothers. We will destroy each other and the world around us over and over again. Samus and Ridley's rivalry after 30 years. By God, it's Samus Aran with a steel chair! Be me, 18 years old, no girlfriend or real social life or job, heavily depressed. Go to stay with my dad for a while. My parents are split up. Realize I don't have any money for cigarettes. Ask my dad if I can work with him to earn a bit of money. Dad works as a carpenter. Tells me I can work with him for the week and he would pay me on Friday. Start working on Monday through to Friday. Probably the hardest I've ever worked. End of the week rolls by and I'm in the van with my dad. He gives me the money and starts talking. I'm proud of you, Anon. You showing initiative and asking to work with me made me happier than I can ever imagine. I didn't buy the cigarettes. I haven't smoked in about a year. Thanks, Dad. Always blows my mind as a European when people talk about states like, yeah, there's nothing in Ohio, Montana, Wyoming, etc. Because I look at a map like, but they're so big! Every state could qualify as its own country. What do you mean there's nothing there? And then I ask people from those states and they're like, yeah, there's nothing here. What do you mean there's nothing there? What's in the steppes of Russia or the northern forests of Scandinavia? What's in the Sahara Desert? I'd like us to sit here and identify some key differences between the Sahara Desert and Ohio for a moment. As a former Ohio resident, I think that the key difference is that the Sahara probably has more jobs unrelated to Breaking Bad. Untapped fried chicken market in the depths of the Sahara Desert. Man eating rice, China, 1901 to 1904. This is an extremely important picture. I've never seen someone from 1904 having fun. Oh my god. He has a nice face. No, but the history behind this picture is really interesting. The reason that everyone always looked miserable in old photos wasn't that they took too long to take. Once photography became widespread, it took only seconds to take a picture. It was because getting your photo taken was treated the same as getting your portrait painted, a very serious occasion, meant so that your descendants would know that you existed and what you looked like. But one time, some British dudes went to China to go on an anthropological expedition, and they met some rural Chinese farmers and decided to take their pictures. Now, these people weren't exposed to the weird culture of the time around getting your photo taken, so this guy just flashed a big grin during the photo because he was told to strike a pose, and that's the pose he wanted to strike. Be me. Friend invites me out for drinks. I have work in the morning. Frigate. Get plastered. Wake up for work next day. Still very drunk. Here we go, .png. Somehow make it to work in one piece. Hey, Anon, what's up? Good, and you? Awkward silence. Suddenly have a bright idea. Decide to power nap in storage closet to sober up. Set alarm on phone for 30 minutes. Wake up 10 hours later. Hungover. Slept through my alarm. Crap.jpg. Think I'm gonna be fired. Frigate. Time to go home. Boss sees me on the way out. Well, Anon, you look beat. Thanks for staying late today. I appreciate it. Talks to me about a possible promotion. My face when work is easy. One time, we had this guy covering a shift at the coffee shop, and it somehow came out over the course of regular small talk with us that he was Armenian. He got this really tired, distant look in his eyes and said, "Yeah, you know what people always think about when they find out." Everyone nods, and I figure we're all on the same page, so it doesn't need to be said. And I'm about to move on when someone pipes up, "The Kardashians!" He sighs and nods, and I, unable to help myself, go, "Oh." And then very quietly, I thought we were talking about the Armenian genocide. Everyone is stunned for a moment, except for the guy, who suddenly lights up and says, in a remarkably delighted tone of voice, "That's the first time anyone has ever mentioned the Armenian genocide." I actually had no idea the Kardashians were Armenian. 27 years old, kissless, hugless maiden. Meet a cute 31-year-old single mom. She has a 7-year-old boy. Starts showing interest in me. Thinks I'm cool, flirts, eventually asks me out. The date was awesome. I was nervous and she thought it was cute. Drop her off at her place. The nanny is just leaving. "Hey, Anon, my kid is already sleeping. Don't you want to come in?" Holy crap, it's happening.jpg. Small talk on the couch. She jumps on top of me and starts making out with me. Coitus.jpg. I've never felt so happy in my life. Been together for 2 months. Her kid is a cool guy, loves dinosaurs. We go to the museum, see some fossils. I buy him ice cream and a toy triceratops.
Uncle Anon, this is the best date ever.
For the first time in my life, I feel a fraction of what being a father is like. I feel purpose and drive. My job doesn't seem pointless anymore. I look forward to meeting them and doing family stuff together. Am I making a huge mistake? I think I'm gonna marry this woman and adopt the little guy. Sometimes, I think about the fact that DreamWorks was working on The Prince of Egypt and Shrek at the same time, and would apparently send people to work on Shrek instead of The Prince of Egypt as a form of punishment. The night I posted this, I couldn't find a source, and I've been wondering ever since if maybe it was just some kind of frigged up fever dream or something, but no, it's real. As Shrek floundered, its status as the ugly stepchild at DreamWorks was reinforced. It was known as the Gulag, said one animator. If you failed on Prince of Egypt, you were sent to the dungeons to work on Shrek. The assignment was referred to as being Shreked. I learned something today. What is your largest fast food order? I was in the Philippines and ordered 30 Yum Burgers from Jollibee's because they were so cheap. My action caused a huge scene because I was in a remote city that rarely sees white people, and the magnitude of burgers I ordered. Never see a white person in all 35 years of your life. Hear stories about how much they eat. Think that's impossible. Nobody could stomach that much. One day, skinny white man arrives. Astounding. What a novelty. But surely the rumors must be false. See how thin he is. Follow him into the local Jollibee's to confirm. He orders 30 friggin' burgers. 3 friggin' 0. Go home to wife. Tell her we must sell everything. Need to open hot dog stand in America. We will be fabulously wealthy. B-girl, middle school, early 2000s, walking to class. See some short kid getting shoved into the locker. Tiny little Hispanic kid and his 2 goons are harassing this kid for lunch money. Is this real life? Take the little Hispanic kid and put him in a chicken hold. Tell him if he touches this kid again, I'll beat his face into the locker so hard his parents won't be able to recognize him. He calls his goons off, runs away. Short kid follows me around for the rest of the school year, carrying my books and taking care of my Tamagotchi and letting me use his head as an armrest. A couple years ago, I looked him up on Facebook and found he publicly joined a Muscle Girl appreciation group. Roommate asked me to drive him to his guy. Sure, I have nothing going on. Get in, start the car, put on seatbelt. Notice roommate doesn't have his seatbelt on. Ask him to put it on. Why? Aren't you a good driver? Tell him it's my car and I want him to have his seatbelt on.
Lol, frig you, man. Just drive.
Okay. Get on the road, accelerate to 40 miles per hour, slam on the brakes. Roommate flies out of his seat. His face hits the windshield. Oh crap, sorry bro. Maybe you should put your friggin' seatbelt on. He does. I turn the car around and drive us back home. Friggin' bundle of sticks can walk to his guy now. Wear your seatbelts. Be me, bottomless pit supervisor, in charge of making sure the bottomless pit is in fact bottomless. Occasionally have to go down there and check if the bottomless pit is still bottomless. One day I go down there and the bottomless pit is no longer bottomless. The bottom of the bottomless pit is now just a regular pit. Distress.jpg. Ask my boss what to do. He says, just make it bottomless again. I say, how? He says, I don't know, you're the supervisor. Rage.jpg. Quit my job. Become a regular pit supervisor. First day on the job, go to the new hole. It's bottomless. Can we talk about how in zombie shows / movies / books, they always find a veterinarian and not a surgeon? Are veterinarians deemed more likely to survive the apocalypse? Yup. One of our professional skills is not being bitten by patients. We actually have a good broad knowledge base for both surgical, medical, and general practitioner things. We're used to improvising equipment because a lot of stuff is just not made for animals. Meat safety is part of our training. Our cars are often full of equipment, especially in mixed practice. We probably weren't in the human hospital at the initial outbreak. Be me, black. Be light skinned. See dumb post on Twitter saying cops shouldn't stop black fights. Respond saying that's dumb. Get called a racist. Respond saying I'm black myself. She asked for a pic of my arm with a piece of paper with my Twitter name. Send her said picture. Get told that I don't look black. Respond saying I'm light skinned. She legit says,
Then you're not actually black. You have more white genes.
tell her both of my parents are African American. She says they aren't black either. She blocks me after. Why are people like this? Watch his hair blatantly intersect with the lockers. My college animation professor worked on Jimmy Neutron, and he was just like, listen, yeah, we knew, and we just didn't have the time or money to care. The power would go out at the studio at least once a week, and they would just have to leave until it came on the next day. Jimmy Neutron's production team saw some crap. I had a guest speaker come to my class that worked on Jimmy Neutron as an animator, and said it was basically a fever dream. I think we need a documentary / oral history about the making of Jimmy Neutron. Be me, am 17, am pretty stupid and broke, so decide to sell fake Zaza. Start filling a few bags with oregano and selling to freshmen. Kids actually believe it's Zaza and buy some. My face when they fake being zooted and then come back to buy more. One day, called up the principal's office. There's a cop in there. They ask to search my bag. My face when all they find is oregano. My face when I say I'm making pasta after school and my friend gave me some oregano he grew to use. My face when they can't do anything, so they send me back to class. 17-year-old NASA intern discovers a new planet on his third day. The 17-year-old, every scientist at NASA. I don't get to name the planet. My brother had the idea of calling it Wolftopia, but I think TOI 1338b is sufficient. King? I think it is not frigging sufficient at all. Wolftopia or bust. Also, Wolftopia is gorgeous, by the way. Wolftopia is nearly the size of Saturn and orbits 2 stars that closely orbit each other. Psychiatrist asks what I enjoy doing. Tell him I like doing image edits. He asks if I ever post them. I tell him I do and that they're used by other people and potentially seen millions of times, but it's all posted anonymously. He gets really interested and asks to see. Show him over 100 original frog edits. He says he's seen the character before. Next session, him and 2 other psychiatrists are in the room. Says he invited them to help me. They ask more about my memes. Show them my posts which were reposted by Redditors and got tens of thousands up to millions of views. Show them my original memes that have know your meme pages or big online presences. They're recording me and taking notes the whole time through. Get uncomfortable and don't book a follow-up appointment. Doctor is offered to cover all further sessions and meet with me 3 times a week as a case study. It hasn't happened since 1936, but a reminder that if an NHL game goes to a 6th overtime, they drop the second puck. Per rules, in the event of a 7th overtime, which has never happened, 5 pucks are in play and a face-off is taken simultaneously at all 5 face-off circles, with each team playing 15 players plus goaltender at once. Rules for an 8th overtime, which again has never happened in the NHL, are sealed inside a red envelope, which has not been opened since 1917. Give us the Forbidden Ice Boys rules. Be me, an army, mandatory in my crappy country. First time we noob soldiers fire our guns. We lay on the ground and get ready. Drill instructor yells, "Are you ready?" I yell back, "Aye, aye, Captain." Random guy 2 rows away yells, "I can't hear you." Drill instructor's mad and tries to find out who mocked him. I yell again, "Oh." Random guy shoots a rock 10 meters in front of him from laughter. The target was 300 meters away. Dust rises up and one general runs and screams at drill instructor. We march back to camp 10 kilometers instead of driving. I'm attending the I Can't Hear You Guys wedding next week. I'm at a restaurant right now and there's this 16-year-old kid sitting at the table next to me, completely alone with 6 racks of ribs. He's eating 1 rib every 10 seconds, and the poor server who was assigned to him has to keep getting him new ribs. I've been here for an hour just watching this kid inhale ribs like he's gonna die the next day. He probably will, given the amount of hot sauce he put on them. I cannot stress enough that this is a stick-thin teenage child sitting alone at a restaurant absolutely going to town on these ribs. This child is eating like he's trying to personally rid the world of ribs. I've been timing him. He orders a full other rack of ribs every 2 minutes. This is frigging insane. I don't know what to do. As someone who does not pay attention to lyrics and songs, I am always afraid someone who does pay attention is going to come along and see my music and be like, "Why are you listening to songs about kicking orphans and diverting funds from public libraries?" I don't know. That's news to me. The beat was fresh and the vibes were funky. I lose all knowledge of human language when the drum goes bop bop. I am as surprised and alarmed as you are. Pumped up kicks. I wish Octopus could learn how to read. They could be pen pals with middle schoolers. "Dear Samantha, I do not know what a guinea pig is, but it sounds delicious. I hope you have fun devouring it, or playing with it if that is your preference. Today I hacked a local computer to get more bubbles in my tank and took a photograph of an unsuspecting victim. Do let me know how your human activities are going, and if this Karen continues to antagonize your brother, I would suggest smacking her very hard. And do send more canned snacks. Best wishes, Octopus number 5, Monterey Bay Research Aquarium." If they rebooted Austin Powers, it would either be the most tone-deaf, unfunny, incredibly offensive movie in years, or they'd do it right and really keep with the times and being very self-aware, and it would be one of the best films in decades. Austin Powers would be a massive supporter of trans rights, because trans women means more women for him to shag. Oh, your pronouns are she, they? Well, baby, let me she them badonkers, shagadelic. Austin Powers discovers bisexuality and it blows his friggin' mind. Anti-revenge narrative this, anti-revenge narrative that. I personally think that Inigo Montoya had the right idea when he stabbed Count Rugen in the gut and said, "I want my father back, you son of a bitch." A lot of revenge arcs end with the hero saying,
"There's nothing you can do to bring my loved one back, so me seeking revenge is pointless."
The Princess Bride's revenge arc ends with Inigo Montoya saying, "There is nothing you can do to bring my loved one back, so there's nothing that can save you." The entire point of Johnny Bravo is that he doesn't get laid. He is not a himbo, and I will not tolerate people saying he is himself. I hate to break this to you, pal, but Johnny's creator says he does get laid off screen, but any success he receives on the show isn't comedic, so they don't talk about it. He's Schrodinger's himbo. He was literally thrown into a volcano as a virgin sacrifice, and the volcano spat him back out. Can't believe Johnny Bravo got harlot shamed by a volcano. Honey is vegan. I don't really care if it be as
"Where's all the honey I've been making?"
They probably get over it really fast. Their brains are very small. Bees choose to live in the box where they know damn well that a large fraction of the honey will periodically be removed, instead of simply leaving that place like they are perfectly able to do, because the human box comes with an invulnerable titan to guard them against all threats. The bees consider the payment offered to this colossal mercenary to be a pretty good deal. Bees know about supply and demand. Protection money. Protection honey. Walk into Chipotle on campus for lunch. 2 Asian girls from behind me. Hear them talking about my hoodie. One of them taps me on the back and says, "I like your hoodie." Turn around confused and say, "What?" She repeats herself. I get embarrassed and say, "Oh, okay." Turn back around and hear them giggling. Pay for my order and power walk to the farthest table. Same girl finger waves at me as she's leaving. Sick to my stomach. Don't even want to eat anymore. Why the frig are women so cruel? They just have to humiliate me every opportunity they get. Today I learned Charles Osborne had the hiccups non-stop for approximately 68 years, from 1922 to 1990. His hiccups first started in 1922 while weighing a hog for slaughter. He fell and busted a blood vessel in his brain, resulting in him damaging a small part of the brain that inhibits the hiccup response. Wait. You're telling me that the default is yes hiccups, and there's a part of the brain that's specifically designed to say no hiccups instead? You sound surprised that humans are so badly designed. Be me. Home for Christmas break. Turn on Xbox for the first time in 3 months. System update required. Takes a friggin' hour. Start game. Game update required. Start different game. Game update required. Okay, I'll just play something else while I wait. Playing another game pauses update. The update can't be too big, right? 0 megabytes out of 57 gigabytes. Wait 2 hours. Update halfway complete. Need more storage space. Delete old game to make storage space. Deleting old game pauses update. Check settings, pick related. This setting just straight up doesn't work. Who the frig designed this crap? Turn off Xbox for the next 3 months. Be me, gamer, have friend, play CSGO with him every day. One day he doesn't show up, radio silence for weeks, getting worried. Over a month later, he comes back, tells me that his family died in a house fire and he was severely injured and in the hospital. Friend feels horrible, as he was unable to save his parents or siblings, even though he was a firefighter himself. Have an idea.jpg, buy him a few games during Steam sale. Arma, Metro, Bioshock, The Sims, whatever, he can have it. Friend feels a little better playing again. He starts his recovery, getting stronger and starting to smile again. Call him on Discord, ask him how it's going. Love this Bioshock game with the underwater city. I'm gonna save all the little sisters and get the good ending. Because you couldn't save yours? What the frig did I just say.jpg? Panic, hang up Discord call, hide in my closet, just type this. Why do I keep doing these things? Be me. Finally get a decent computer for that time. I live in Australia, so we're always behind other countries, about 10. Befriend a guy from Europe on RuneScape. We become best buds. He messages me every time I log on without fail. We skill together, we slay hill giants together, one day log in. He tells me he got rune armor, says he's gonna go in Wildy and wants me to come. Decide to go with him. He gets attacked by a ranger, but we kill them. European friend low on health. Pull out my rune simmy, start hitting him. Kill him. He messages me, "What the frig, bro? I thought we were friends." Take his armor. Block him and log out crying. I hope he's well. Sumerian veteran has severe PTSD, but doesn't know it because the term won't be invented for another 5,000 years. I fight the same battle in my dreams every night, and my relationship with my family is falling apart. Sumerian healer saw hundreds of veterans with the exact same affliction before. You're cursed by desert demons. Actually, we have recorded texts of Sumerian warriors describing symptoms that closely match PTSD, and the diagnoses were not desert demons, but rather, those dudes you killed are still attacking you with their ghosts because you killed them. Be me, in bed a few nights ago, about 2 a.m. TV is playing reruns of Friends. Falling asleep. Suddenly, I'm in a dark hallway with glowing red writing all over the floor and walls. Decipher some of the messages. They're all about how there's no way out. Some of them are really casual, like, I checked all day, still haven't found an exit, sad face. Walk down the hallway. There's a staircase. Start going down the staircase. Writing becomes indecipherable. Reach bottom, darker than ever. Realize I'm dreaming. Try to wake up. Can't wake up. Keep trying, still stuck in nightmare land. Can't breathe, desperately start flailing to wake myself up. Stuck for what feels like hours. Eventually manage to wake up, sweating and gasping for air. Same Friends episode is still on. Scene is immediately after the one I fell asleep to. What the hell happened to me? Happened to me today at work. Be me, 6'2" energy engineer, average hydrogen gas enjoyer. Be in company meeting. IT guy complains that too many people don't know the basics of using a PC. Boss tries to run defense for the normies who can't work anything that isn't an app. Some of this stuff is really complicated, bro. We can't expect everyone to get it. Tries to use some jargon to sound smart. Calls Linux a coding language. My face when.jpg. Have to leave the room, I'm laughing so hard. Pick related. Why are normies like this Anon? Humans don't have enough ornamentation. Where's the plumage? The antlers? I could go for a good vibrant throat sack I could display as I sing in the mating season. Humans have some of the most extreme hair variation over their bodies in the animal kingdom, with hair on some parts of our body a few millimeters long and fine enough to be almost invisible, and hair in other parts a good meter long if not artificially trimmed. Part of the inside of our mouths are turned out to make our lips bright red. We have comically oversized calcium cannons and lack Richard bones to make getting bricked up more indicative of impressive circulation, and have some of the most complex behavioral adaptations to self-ornamentation for courtship seen in anything that doesn't spend half its life collecting blue bottle caps. How much ornamentation do you want? I'd like antlers, as previously stated. It can be difficult to understand just how routine-oriented cats can be if you've never owned one. If my oven timer goes off and I'm slow responding to it, my cats will run and fetch me and lead me right to it, because the beepy thing means the human is supposed to go into the kitchen. And are they the only ones around here who give a damn about the rules? One night, my partner decided to stay up and play video games whilst I got an early night, and the cat responded to this by running from the bedroom to the living room yelling, because only one human had gone to bed. And so is it bedtime or not, humans? Make up your minds! This is no way to run a household! Live in a bad part of town. Work at a grocery store. Always give hobos the food the store wants to throw out. On cold days, I make a big jug of coffee and hand it out to them. No one ever asks me for cash because they know I'm broke. I'm known as the Sandwich Man because I usually make sandwiches for them. Last year, got mugged walking back home. 5 seconds after being confronted, I hear, "Hey yo, get away from the Sandwich Man!" 4 or 5 homeless guys run to me from half a block away, yelling at the mugger to get away from me despite him having a knife. He ran off after they came, and they chased after him. Follow, and there was like 10 of them gathered around, and he was pinned to the ground. One called the police, and they arrested the guy. Was told, "If anyone freaks with you, Sandwich Man, we got your back." My face when I basically have a street gang by giving away day-old sandwich meat and bread I am told to throw in the trash. First time in gym. My very first exercise is bench. Next to me are some Zoomers and wannabe gangsters. They snicker and say to themselves,
This dude looks like he sits behind a computer 24/7.
about to cry. Make up some bullcrap like I'm thirsty and go to the toilet so I can pack and leave. Some dude stops me and says if he can use the bench. It's motherfucking Chad, just like from the memes. Say, yeah? Asks if I'll spot him. Okay. We start to talk. He noticed I'm a first timer in the gym. He teaches me lifts, we talk for an hour, and for this whole hour it feels like I'm safe and protected. My face when this Chad says, "See you tomorrow, okay? I have leg day and I'll teach you deadlifts." Is this how Chads are? Is this how it feels to die for a king? It felt like a dream, but it was all real. My king, my liege, we will make it. Apple is the worst friggin' company ever. Maybe back when Steve Jobs was alive, it was a little better and slightly respectable, but holy crap, he must be rolling in his grave right now. Be me. A few weeks ago, go to Apple Store to get battery replaced. Spend an hour and 30 minutes walking around, come back. They tell me the phone is missing some parts, so the battery is unreplaceable. Next day, go to Crappy PC Fix, feces everywhere, legit the most dingiest friggin' place alive. Ask to get battery replaced. He goes in the back for 15 to 30 minutes, comes back, battery health is replaced and 100% capacity. Ask if any parts were missing. They weren't. Pay the $60 and walk out. Planned obsolescence is real, boyos. I've probably said this before, but I love the Twilight Zone episodes with no quantifiable moral at the end. They just wrap up like, wouldn't it be frigged up if that happened? Everyone's saying Black Mirror. No! The whole point of Black Mirror is that it's rife with unwanted morals. No! I don't want to be told how technology is making us distant and how helicopter parenting makes kids hate you. I want, what if astronauts found their own dead bodies on a random planet and had a breakdown for a full episode, then realized they're dead for real, and then forget and do it all again forever? Wouldn't that be frigged? I'm Rod Serling. This happened last night. Get job at McDonald's. Need cash. Work in the back arranging the meals. Cutie Pie comes in with 8-ish-year-old daughter. Asks for a chicken nugget Happy Meal. Daughter is really polite to cashier. Says please in everything. Throw in an extra nugget because of her kindness. Few minutes later, manager tells me to mop a spill. It's right next to the mom and her daughter. Eavesdrop on them.
Mommy, look! The people in the back gave me an extra nugget. Why?
Mom replies, It's because they're dumb enough to work here that they can't count. My face when mom and daughter laugh while I walk away. Why are people so unappreciative? Positive Dad Stories thread. Be me, 9. Own a toy fire truck. God, I friggin' love my fire truck.jpg. Bring to show and tell. Kids make fun of fire truck. Go home, tell Dad. Dad tells me not to worry about it. Next day, Dad wakes me up for drive to school. Past school.
Dad, where are we going?
My friends want to meet you, Anon. Pull up to Firehouse. Dad told his firefighter friends what happened. Get tour of Firehouse and meet real firemen. Get to honk real fire truck horn. My face when my dad took off work just to make me feel better over some stupid toy truck. My dad PayPals me $20 every exam season for Red Bull and Snickers because he swears by a trick he used to do in college where he would chug a Red Bull and eat a Snickers in the exam hall before every single one of his exams, and he did well on all of them. Legitimately swears to this day that it works and makes me do it. The first time I tried it, I also knocked that exam out of the park. It would take 2 more years for either of us to figure out that we both had low blood pressure, and what all that caffeine and sugar was making us experience was known as normal blood pressure, allowing us to concentrate better. My dad still swears that it was the Red Bull and Snickers and not the medical equivalent of using the wrong equation and getting the right answer. There's a guy in one of my classes who I am secretly battling for dominance over by wearing awful hipster outfits. I don't know if he is thinking the same thing, but regardless, I intend to win. I thought I won today when I walked into class wearing my awful 1995 figure skating tour of the world, sponsored by Campbell Soup t-shirt, mom jeans, and 1980 Moscow Olympics themed denim jacket. But then he had to walk in wearing a Donald Duck jacket with matching Donald Duck socks. Like, what a friggin' power move. Sad day today. True story. Be me, 31, software programmer for a tech company in a city. Every day get 45-minute break for lunch. The best places to eat are next to this bench area. Next to bench area is this bucket drummer. He's really good. I've been going there to eat my lunch every Monday to Friday for the past year or so. Always give him $1. Least I could do. Pretty cheap for 30 minutes of entertainment. Went to my work today to grab my laptop. Got lunch in same spot as always. Notice he isn't out there. Shrug it off. He probably isn't out here on Sundays. Very sad woman comes and places flowers on where he normally performs. My heart skips a beat. I felt my stomach drop. Who are those for? She proceeds to tell me that the drummer was killed by a driver that was texting while he was crossing the street. Told me his name was Devin. Never spoken a word to Devin, but every day when I give him $1, he'd smile and wave at me. Even though I don't know Devin, or even his name until now, I'm devastated right now. My life in the corporate cage sucked. Devin was my way of escaping into music. Worst part was, I never got to tell him how much better his music would make my crappy days. Rest in peace, Devin. Thank you for your beautiful music. Seeing some girl recently, go to her house to frig her again. While we're cuddling, ask her what's on her mind. Tells me that she likes me. Tell her I like her too. Tells me how she likes to kiss me, hold me, how she likes my eyes, my laugh, the way I talk. We don't fall asleep until 5 a.m. Leave her house around 7 a.m. Keeps saying she doesn't want me to go. Driving back to my place, the feelings hit me. The feel when you've been emotionally deprived for the first 19 years of your life. The feel when you thought you would end up alone and a loser, but you managed to turn out just fine. The feel when you realize you aren't alone in this world. The feel when you matter to someone. Here's a wholesome story for you bots. At dinner with my family at some sports bar. Mom and dad both had a bad day and decided to de-stress. Whatever, free food for me. Throughout the whole dinner, they're both kinda glum. My little brother suddenly looks like he had an idea and whispers in my ear, "Watch this." He asks mom and dad to look each other in the eyes as long as they can. Think to myself, what the frig is he doing? A staring contest? After about 15 seconds of eye contact, they both start smiling and eventually they break into laughter at that. My face when my little bro is the best at making people happy. Thanks, little bro.
Oh my, you were battling, weren't you? Who was it this time? It was Ho-Oh. That's nice. Huh?
Can someone from the Pokemon fandom explain this? I don't understand Nurse Joy's reaction. Ho-Oh is basically a minor deity, so Nurse Joy pretty much just heard this 10-year-old say, "I threw a rat at a god." The best part? Pikachu is awake. Pokemon faint upon being defeated. What Nurse Joy heard was more along the lines of, "I threw a mouse at a god, and the mouse won." What is a king to a god? What is a god to a 10-year-old with an electric mouse? Maybe God should have rethought the flying typing if he didn't want his butt kicked by an electric mouse. My grandfather always had candy in his pockets, and one time, when I got really sick and I was hospitalized, my dad told him not to give me any candy. He pulled out his pockets to show he hadn't even brought any, and I got really sad. But As soon as my dad walked out of the room, he then proceeded to take off his hat and had 2 chewy chocolate candy toffees and 2 orange Fanta toffees. And I'll never forget the happiness and surprise I felt in that one moment in my entire life. Be me, HVAC student, SolidWorks session, and I'm the only guy with PC knowledge. 10 PCs, but only 5 got the program. Good idea to help the clueless teacher. Torrent the thing and install it. Crap PCs, but it works. Exams week. The NPCs I study with don't even know how to create a new project and end up screwing the settings. Teacher calls me to fix the mess so we can continue doing the tests. regedit.exe. Get setting to default and Mother Frigger is happy. Get a 19 out of 20 mark and says I don't have to take the exam. My face win. Pick related. I am a medicine combination expert. You want to see what it's like as the opposite gender for 3 hours? What being kissed by God feels like? You want the infinite experience of freedom, knowledge of yourself, freakiness that incinerates you, a simple good time, forgetfulness? I'm your man. This guy created McAfee antivirus and then went completely off the rails, like absolute chaos. He got super rich, moved to Belize, was suspected of murdering his neighbor, fled Belize, had his location accidentally leaked by a vice journalist who was with him, Limfao, was apprehended in Guatemala, faked not 1 but 2 heart attacks while in custody to buy time for his lawyer, was deported back to the US, and then ran for president as a libertarian. My kind of guy. Daniel Radcliffe's delicious chocolate starfish. After I saw him in The Cripple of Inishmaan, I anxiously waited to meet Daniel Radcliffe at the stage door so I could get this card signed. Because I was toward the back of the crowd, I didn't think Daniel would even notice the card, but I was very wrong. As soon as he caught sight of the card, Daniel started laughing. He then took the card and explained how he had wanted to sign one of the cards ever since he had found out about it, and signed it with my Sharpie. Then he thanked me for bringing it and took my phone and took a selfie with me. Needless to say, I was very happy. Daniel Radcliffe is a gift to humankind. Hey B, I need to tell you guys a story. Be me. Be working at Toaster Bath Hotline. Have access to donation logs. Go through them from time to time between calls. Notice a man has made a donation of $17.50 every month, same day, for a couple of years. Check to see if there's a note with the donations. They all read something like as follows. To Jason, from Dad. I miss you every day. I asked about it. Turns out his son listened to Canadian doctors when he was really young. That money is his son's allowance. Don't think that people won't miss you, or people will forget you. You are loved, Anon, even if you don't feel it right now. One thing I've noticed while running an online shop is that Americans never include their country when writing their address. I don't mean when filling in online forms, because that's obviously a required element, but when emailing me for address changes for orders, they never include a country in the updated address. But I always know the country is the United States of America, because literally nobody else around the world would do that. Seriously, why would you include it though? It's extraneous information, like of course it's the US. There are 195 countries in the world. Be me. Be loser who drives a delivery van all day. Work is frigging boring as frig. Get new puppy. Puppy is sad when I go to work. Have idea. I will take puppy to work with me. Next day, put puppy in van. Puppy sits shotgun all day. Does not pee or poop in cab. Take puppy to park during lunch break. Puppy waits patiently while I make deliveries. Drive home. Realize work was fun with my little puppy buddy. Have never had this much enjoyment of work. Thank you, puppy. You know, I used to have a dog. He died. Fighting a mountain lion. Just kidding, he had cancer. Not my story, but one I had seen like 7 months ago. Have Spider Bro. Eats random bugs and crap in my kitchen. Once killed a mouse. We live happily together for a few months. One night, go to bars and pick up a girl. Bring girl home, end up heading to my bedroom. Spider Bro is on the wall. Girl screams and runs home. Get so angry I kill Spider Bro for denying me my needs. Find out from friend a couple days later that the girl had a coitally transmitted disease. Spider Bro knew. Sadface.jpg. Can we get some Fs in the chat for Spider Bro, guys? The first early hominid to make use of metaphor or allegory must have blown the others away. Your actions will have consequences. Just like a tree has fruit. Whoa! Holy crap, guys, did you catch that? One hominid is so impressed that he goes back home and is like, this cave feels so peaceful tonight. Just like a tree has fruit. And everyone makes fun of him. Grug's brain is full of stupidity. Just like a tree is full of fruit. Whole tribe going completely ape crap at first ever comedian. Beamy, dispatch manager for a small company. Bunch of 18-year-olds start working in the shipping department. Start using the most current memes. Yeet, Ligma, etc. Just general crap from 5chan/Reddit to see if they get it. Kids get really into it. Everything is a meme to them. Boss walks into the dispatch room just as I chuck some packing tape to one of the kids, screaming yeet as I do it. Boss takes one look at me and says, "Looks like you've got a case of up dog." One of the kids replies, "What's up dog?" My face when my boss is the biggest memer in the office. Writing challenge. Describe everything with only the most random frigging details. Gregory had 10 unclipped fingernails and 9 unclipped toenails. As a 14-year-old, he had the greatest lung capacity in his entire biology class, and his eyes were the color of moon dust. They entered a building that had been constructed from 129,050 calcium silicate bricks. Emma's dog barked at 92 decibels. He had 4 strong legs and no knowledge that he had an ancestor who once mauled a man to death for trying to steal a cabbage. This is how Douglas Adams writes. Small acts of kindness are something we can all do to make our lives less crap. There's no excuse not to do stuff like this. Be me, uni student, depressed, walking to a nearby liquor store to numb the pain, tourist trap store along the way, sells tacky souvenirs and whatnot. Go in on a whim. Postcard is like frigging 25 cents. Buy one. Wake up next morning with hangover. Say postcard. Look up online how to fill it out because who the frig knows how to fill out a postcard in current year? Fill it out. Send to mom and dad. Just like 2 banal sentences about how I'm doing okay, a lie. Now I hope they're taking good care of my cat. Like 5 days later, mom calls me to tell me how much getting that postcard meant to them. Says it made their entire week. Don't drink myself to sleep that night for the first time in a long time. Have ex-boyfriend. Was really the nicest guy I've ever met, and took me this long to realize what a positive influence he left. Wasn't ready for him back then, as personal life drama made maintaining relationships impossible. Look him up for the first time in 8 years. He's now with a girl, and traveling to all the places he and I talked about traveling. She's 12 years younger than him. Why do men do this? Break up with a guy. He moves on and finds someone else. Why do men do this? Are you Forrest Gump level IQ? Concept. Woman makes deal with demon to have its child in exchange for eternal life or some crap. Woman then makes deal with witch and offers her firstborn for like riches or something. Woman dumps demon baby on witch, absconds with their winnings, and leaves witch and demon fighting for custody. Half demon baby grows up learning magic and visiting hell on weekends and every second Christmas. Does the woman act as a sort of vodka aunt who shows up sometimes to teach the child how to work the system?
Here you go, Timmy, have a new Xbox. This year I'm gonna teach you the ins and outs of magical tax evasion.
She does now. Beamy, sit in class. Remember one time in kindergarten when a girl took a crap on a bench and got in trouble for doing so? Find that memory really friggin' funny. Burst out laughing. Teacher gets vexed. Asks, "What's so funny?" Silence.jpg. Say that I thought about a mole. Teacher looks at me like I'm brain dead. I mean, look where you're posting, buddy, let's be real. My face when I actually begin thinking about moles now. Remember, moles are blind and probably bump into each other all the time. Begin laughing again. Get detention. Also, like 10 to 15 years from now, I hope someone makes one of those inspirational sports movies, except it's a 50-year-old woman who wants to play competitive online games, and everyone tells her she can't because she's too old, her reflexes are too slow, etc. And she gets this grizzled trainer, except they're a 19-year-old kid who had a promising career until carpal tunnel syndrome ruined their chances of becoming the world champion. So they train her, and she friggin' wins. The end. Movie of the year. The Grandmaster. You're both hired. Beamy, 16. Have a girlfriend of 2 years. Always have been self-conscious of her cheating on me. Decide to make a fake account and hit her up on Snapchat. She doesn't suspect a thing. Eventually convinced to trade pictures. She loves it and sends pictures of her glutes/pecs. She tells me about how she would go behind her boyfriend's back and frig me whenever she could. Still going on. I don't know if I should tell her or keep going. The face when my girlfriend is cheating on me with me.